Ciao ragazzi, my name is Anthony. Welcome along to Football Worldwide, and thank you for tuning in to the Serie A Roundtable today. It is episode 18. I believe we're discussing match day 24, sometimes 23 for some teams. It really depends who you are and where you sit on the table. But for my roundtable today, it's a pleasure to be joined by three gentlemen. Making his debut on the show is Adriano Mineo. Thank you very much for joining us from Melbourne, bro.
Thanks, Anthony. I'll do my best to fill in out in Adam's shoes today. It's big shoes to fill, but representing Roma today, it's a pleasure.
No one can talk as long as Adam can, man. So I'm sure either way you'll be all right, bro. I'm welcoming him from a much colder time, man. Riccardo, most of the time when I see you, the sun is blazing off your head, bro. I can see it out the windows. Doesn't look as hot at the moment. How are you, though, brother? It's so good to see you.
I'm good, boys. Nice to be back on the show. Yeah, here live from Sicily. Today I'm in the car. Just want to be on the show, so I take my time. And nice to be back and see you already. Welcome, Adrian, and thanks, Anthony, for having me on the show.
Anytime. It's a pleasure to see you again. And of course, coming from Melbourne all the time with a smile on his face. Mustache and all, come stai?
I'm good. Nice to see Adrian. Adrian, don't worry, it's easy to replace Adam. So as long as you learn how to be in holiday 1 week a month of the year, you can replace Adam. It's always in holiday. Nice to see Riccardinho back. I want to just say good luck with your new adventures. Riccardo open up another great restaurant. And if you ever going to go in Sicily, if you don't go have a try a Riccardo restaurant, you're going to miss out. So everybody that watching the show, when you go to Sicily, message Riccardo. Best restaurant.
Thanks, Amo. Thank you very much.
Beautiful.
And Anthony, of course. Hey, Anthony up here, it's happy because in the last 2 months we let him go. But I'm telling you, we're coming, man. Be careful.
Yeah.
He's on the top.
Coming,
He's on the top.
It's coming, man. The higher you fly, the harder you fall, man. Everybody knows that. So let's start with the most important fixture of the match day. It ended up an exciting first half, but as the game went on, I'm sure everybody will agree both sides will more be content for the point rather than going for the three altogether. I'll start with Riccardo, seeing as though he's the only one on the panel that represents either of these sides. Riccardo, what did you think about this fixture, and what does the result mean for Juventus going forward?
Anyone say KFC? No, I'm joking, guys. Shocking displays for Serie A. Really shocking displays for Serie A. Probably one of the worst games I ever saw of Juventus playing. I never fell asleep on the game. I actually fell asleep on the second quarter. I was on the couch and nearly fell asleep. I don't know. It's 1 point. Moves the ladder, but I don't know, man. It's we bleeding badly, but end of the day, it's a 10 consecutive good result apart the Supercoppa, and yes, we're still there. We're hanging close to the fourth spot. Anthony, really, I don't have nothing to say, man. It's shocking displays for both sides. Like Juventus, I don't think could do more than what they're doing. I don't understand why Allegri keep playing Locatelli on the line of two when Locatelli should be played forward, a little bit more in front than Arthur in the back. But he's the coach. I can't go and say what he say, what he doesn't say. Surprise for Rugani, best on the ground. For everyone, Rugani was finished, but I don't know. Maybe with Allegri, he give us some vitamins. I don't know, man. He plays good. The Chile is playing good. I don't know. There was maybe a penalty for Juventus, but that's not an excuse. Shocking displays for both teams, even from Milan. Nothing else to say, guys.
Yeah, with a lot on the line, you really expect both teams to sort of go for it a little bit more. I thought Chiellini had a really, really good game. I think if he wasn't there, the Juventus backline would have crumbled eventually. And he still knows how to put in such a good shift, even at his age. Let's talk about something a little bit more positive for Juve as of the last 12 hours. Obviously, the hottest prospect in Serie A, Dusan Vlahovic. It's looking like, if you want to believe the first wave of very important rumors, that he could be on his way to your club in Turin as early as January. Do you think it's coming as early as January, or might this be some sort of concrete thing to make sure it's over the line in June? What are you saying about most of the rumors, Riccardo? Because they're starting to look like
I like with Siamo, we changed a couple of messages on the group and also on the page. About our experience, I never thought this could happen it couldn't happen in January. You know what I mean? But I think it's there's a lot of work going underground that we don't know. Fiorentina is just about to sign a striker from Brazil. And so I think Vlahovic looks like at this stage is probably 90% going to Juventus. Actually, I was watching Sport Italia last night until late, and the news break out when Prade had a chat at 9 o'clock. We all thought, first me, that he was going to, to kill these rumors about Dusan. He actually come out and say we need to sell him. Everyone come and put an offer down. Apparently, there was already a phone call between the Cherubini and the Prade in the afternoon. So I think Juventus is formulating an offer now. It will be around the 70 million mark. I don't know how the payment will be. There will be no 70 million cash right now. There will be probably some kind of maybe loan and then pay the next year or 2 year there. At this stage, a lot of people saying why this is, it's not good for soccer and stuff like that. Guys, I understand that. But if you're Fiorentina and you're making 800,000 euro a year and you get an offer for 7 million going to play for Juventus, whatever Juventus is good or not now, that's questionable. Baggio's done it before. Bernardeschi's done it before. Chiesa's done it before. Vlahovic is doing it now. If you're gonna choose between Arsenal and Juventus, I'm pretty sure everyone on this board now talking with me will go for Juventus. If you are a player getting from 800,000 to 7 million, guys, just think about that.
I think so. It's a big upgrade from Morata, who could be on his way out to Barcelona surely.
I think there will be a mistake. Honestly, I think if Vlahovic come and Morata go, would be a mistake because Morata is really good if he plays on the wing. But then again, maybe for wage, to balance the wage, he might go. I'm thinking Ramsey will go, and maybe Arthur will go, but I like him to stay. So, but guys, even if Vlahovic come, the team is still crap. So I just want to take all this Juventini going off and stuff like that. I want to say one thing. Until last night, Italian time, Vlahovic was a gun for everyone on the group we are in, the members. Now it's a crap. So that means it's really good. That means it's really good. But also I want to get the hope out of the Juventini. It's not the saver. It's not going to save our season. Maybe take us to Champions Leagues. Maybe. But Juventus is taking the risk, and it's 21 years old player. How Agnelli say a few months ago, we need to look for the new Ronaldo. He's got quality, and the president is delivering. So that's what I can say. Hope he comes.
Yeah, fair enough. Thanks, man. Adrian, I wanted to hear your thoughts on the game between Milan and Juve, and overall where you think the 1 point is going to get both of these sides, considering both really could have used the 3, man.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I guess the result didn't help either team. Either team would have loved the win in case of the 1 point. And Zlatan's first half injury, I'm not sure where that leaves Milan and Zlatan. His injuries are happening very often now, and if he's going to extend his deal, can you miss him, 6 months out of the 12 months of the year? It's just, I'm not sure it's really working. I guess the Vlahovic definitely is needed. Juventus had 0 shots on target for the whole match, so that's a really appalling stat, to see a Juventus team having, and it really shows how much they're missing Chiesa already. So that's going to be a big hole to fill for the rest of the season. And just one last thing, I think, watching Tonali in that match and against Locatelli, Tonali is going to be a superstar. If we didn't know already, that match, he absolutely dominated the midfield and I thought dominated Locatelli as well. So some good signs there for the Italian national team with those two going forward.
Yeah, fair call, man. Zioamo, over to you, man. Both of these sides got 1 point. Better for Napoli now because it allows them to bridge the gap into second. But what did you think of the game, and how do you think both teams can sort of use this point going forward into some tough fixtures?
The game, I did not watch the whole game, but I was getting all your message, guys, during the game. And what I read around, and then I see the highlights. And when in the highlights, they show you the throw in, the free kick in the middle of the park. It shows you they have to fill up something. And when you look at the stats, and I heard all your guys' comments, so yeah, definitely a bad game. For my point of view as a Napoli fan, best result for us, because regardless what people think, I don't like have Juve 4 points behind me. I always prefer to put Juve 8 points behind me, because it's always Juve. We went through this last year, so I prefer. I don't feel Atalanta safe from day one, so it's not going to be a fit. Actually, I think that that nobody managed to take too much advantage of the last months and a half of Napoli struggling. And unfortunately for the people, the team that did not took advance, I think is over. We're getting everybody back. We only miss Koulibaly and Anguissano. They're about to come back. I really look forward to the Napoli-Inter game, and definitely I look forward to the Atalanta-Napoli game again, because that game, if we played not that much the Inter one, because the Inter is a good side, but the one against Atalanta, if we play another 100 times with the full squad, we win 101 times. So I think at this stage, the next 3 or 4 weeks will tell if we be only Napoli-Inter 1-on-1 head race or not. So that's the result. Very good for us. I really think that Inter will drop points. The signs already start showing. The Inzaghi effect is about to kick in. So I think it's a very open race right now. Now, in 3 or 4 weeks' times, Inter might win next 3 or 4. Napoli and Milan might lose next 3 or 4. Race is over. But right now, the race is on again. And the way it looks like it looks like it's going to be a race to the last 3 or 4 games. Juventus buying Vlahovic, I spoke to Riccardo many times. If you tell me June, I believe you. If you tell me now, I still don't believe you. I don't know why. Because unless Juventus decide that had to replace Dybala, and in order to replace Dybala, they have to invest 60, 70 million, and they say, you know what, we better invest it now than later. That's the only things that make sense. Otherwise, I don't see this transfer happening. Also, if I was a player, Vlahovic, and I go, Arsenal, Juventus knocking on my door now, what's going to happen if I do another 6 months like this? Who will knock on my door in June? You know what I mean? I will have the Real Madrid of the world. I will have the Barcelona of the world, the Manchester City of the world knocking on my door. So I don't know. If I was the player, if I pick a team now, when I can get a better team, and not offense to Juventus, I mean a better team in this moment of historical moment, all right? If it was Juventus 3 or 4 years ago, sign up straight away. But right now, I don't know.
He might be a fan from back in the day. You never know. He might have had some sort of moments as a kid where he supported the club.
That's could be, but I don't believe in kids' dream becoming player anymore. After what happened to Napoli with Insigne, don't tell me there's a kid dream.
Yeah, but Amo, you got a point regarding the Dybala situation. I think Juventus is going all in for Vlahovic now, spending 7 million to put a pressure on Dybala, because what the message is for Dybala is, or you sign on our condition, or we put 2 wings next to Vlahovic next year and you can go for free.
And that's the only thing I could say happening if he's right now.
Fine. End of the day, Dybala is out of our balance. If he goes for 0, yes, we lose money, but we save money on his wage. So I think that's the message to him. Sign our condition, or we get another wing. We got Chiesa and play Vlahovic. We play 4-3-3.
And also, you gotta think about if Vlahovic is being requested by Arsenal, Juventus now. Like I said, my other team may come on board for Vlahovic. It's also going to be dangerous for Juventus to wait for June, because maybe the 70 million will be not enough anymore. So either way, it's a financial movement, and either way, it's. I believe if you tell me June, I tell you 100%. Right now, I'm still suspicious, but I'm not the kind of guy that follow the market rumors. Or that's my gut's feeling more than what I heard around.
Yeah, I think this one will be sold sooner rather than later, and there's only 5.5 days left in the Mercato, so it sort of has to
What I can tell you 100% guarantee, Napoli's not going to sell Mario Rui.
Yeah.
I think it's happening, Armando. I think it's at the moment. I was talking to you last week and was probably 90% no, 10% yes. Now it's 90% yes and 10% no. They're already talking about Thursday or Friday, because he's got a COVID. So if he's got to turn up negative in the next 3-4 days, it will be in Torino.
I believe you. Like I said, I've not followed the market rumors. So that's it's me talking, just gut feeling and what I think.
No, I agree. But, I believe Fabrizio. I follow Fabrizio Romano. If Fabrizio Romano puts his name on Twitter, 90% is on.
Yeah. Adriano, we're going over to you for your fixture, man. 2-4 away to Empoli, but overdone and dusted. 4-0 by half-time. Goals for Abraham and Zaniolo on the score sheet. Very, very easy. And another goal for new signing Oliveira as well, who's really looks like a sort of leader on the pitch, and you can guarantee he's got that sort of presence off the pitch as well, having that Portuguese connection with his manager. Overall, what did you think of the game, man? And going forward, seeing as though this is your first time on the channel, how do you expect your side to finish this season?
Yeah, it was a great first half, as you mentioned, Anthony. 4 goals in 13 minutes for Roma. So it doesn't really happen too often. As you said, it was done and dusted by halftime, 4-0. I think Mourinho actually made the comment after the game that he didn't push for a fifth. Otherwise, TV audiences would have switched off the TV. So we let those couple goals in at the end just to keep the TV audiences there. As you said, yeah, Abraham, 10 goals in the league now, 17 goals in all competitions. So if you said to me at the start of the season, this guy's only at 20 plus goals, it would have been ecstatic. He probably hasn't got the fanfare in the league as of Vlahovic, and I know he hasn't got as many goals, but he's doing really well. First year in Italy, young guy, and he's leading the line, so it's really, really good. Sergio Oliveira, 2 goals already in 2 games. What a master stroke that's been in January. That's been really good. And Zaniolo with another goal. So a lot of confidence that they're getting these players at the moment. I guess it just keeps the pressure really on Juventus and Atalanta for that 4th spot. But it makes those losses to Juve and Milan at the start of January even more felt now. You know, if we got some points against Juve or Milan at the start of the season, the gap to 4th would have been a little bit closer. Look, I think if Juventus get Vlahovic in January, as the guys have spoken about, I think that 4th spot is going to be very, very hard. Atalanta have got a lot of injuries and COVID cases at the moment. They've played with 4 players under the age of 20 this week, so they're a bit stuck at the moment. But, you know, if we somehow made 4th spot, Anthony, I'll be over the moon. I don't think it's very likely. But, yeah, I think if Mourinho sort of just settles the ship and see how we go in the Europa Conference League, then it's not a massive league. If we can get any title, us Roma supporters would be pretty happy at the moment. But, yeah, happy where we're going. At the moment, considering we had a pretty tough start to the January period.
Yeah, I think so as well, man. You said, well, you had a very tough fixture list at the start of January. When I saw it, I was like, this is definitely going to be the time that they dip away, unfortunately. And those 6-point games really come back to bite you in the cooler at the end of it. But I do think that you guys are going to go on a trend in terms of winning more games than not till the end of the season, and at least going into next season on a very, very positive front. So I know Riccardo said when we had him on early in the season that he expected Roma to be in and about that 4th spot. I think, but if Juventus do snag Vlahovic, you're really looking at a dogfight between Atalanta and Juventus for that last 4th spot, though.
And also to that point, you know, Spinazzola will come back eventually. So he's basically like a January signing for us. You know, he had an amazing Euros before he got injured. If he can get to half that form for us in the second half period, you know, we'll really be able to push on. But, you know, then the new guy, Nate Niles, he came in, started 2 days later. So there is some positives for us at the moment. We just need to keep this momentum going. Unfortunately, this international break probably happened at the worst time. It could have happened after 3 good results in a row. So we'll have to see what happens after the international break.
Oh, can I say something about the Roma? I think Oliveira is a top class player for Roma in January, because you know, he put his request to leave for Porto in June. So I think his time is at Porto was done. That's why he didn't play from September to now. So, you know, I think Roma got him for a really good time and got a really, really good player for Serie A.
Yeah, fair enough. Armando, any comment on Roma winning away from home?
Yeah, I said at the start, I like Ibrahim. I like them much that I wish he was at Napoli. Him and Osimhen, very similar. They will play very good. There could be a good alternation. The sad thing for Roma, I think, is on loan, isn't it? And Chelsea is not happy about Lukaku. So, I can see.
Still alone. I thought you guys paid the 40 up front for Abraham.
We did. I'm not sure if there's an option to buy back at some point, but
the buyback, the famous English club buyback.
So it's
said he's a very good player. I liked him from day one. I told everybody, remind me of Osimhen. They're very similar. They just need to adapt to the Italian football, especially Osimhen, because they always get bashed, broken, you know. But they're very good. I said that before, Roma starting 11, and I have to agree with Mourinho. It's a different team than Roma in general. Roma is picking up point now because it's playing the 11 players. Are they gonna keep this form when the Europa League kicks in? Are they still in Europa League?
Conference League.
Yeah, Conference League. So the problem with Roma would be, I don't think their bench player are even good as a half of the, you know. So if they can play this 11 every 7 days, not every 3 days, they can give a bit of a run for the 4th spot. Unfortunately, we know that the league is congested. You play every 3 days, COVID, injury, Conference League. They don't have the depth to go for it. For me, Juventus with Vlahovic is definitely better for the Atalanta. Atalanta is on the way down. They're about to lose Gonsen. They already have Ilicic out again with a long-term injury. Man, Atalanta had a couple of very lucky games. They faced Napoli and Milan when we had no players. So Napoli had to play against Atalanta with me on the bench, They were really lucky. I don't see them. I saw Juventus with Vlahovic could do it because Juventus this year, respect of last year, is missing Cristiano Ronaldo goal. Okay? Vlahovic is not going to make them fighting for the title, but he can guarantee from now to the end of the season, if they get it, at least 10 goals. Can we say that Vlahovic from January to June could score 10 goals for Juventus?
I think so.
Yeah,
even if he is playing Allegri ball, he'll still score 10 goals.
Yeah, 10 goals could turn out to be, in Allegri football style, 30 points, 1-0 and also defense. So if they take Vlahovic, I think they're going to snitch the fourth spot from Atalanta. I see Roma just a couple of steps below for the depth. So to me, for the fourth spot, it's a Juve, Atalanta, and Roma in this order. And then if Napoli or Milan or even Inter do something crazy, they drop a big time in form, then they can go for the third or second spot as well.
Yeah, there's still plenty of Serie A to play. Way too much Serie A to play. 14 match days. This was a hyped up game. Everybody was very excited to see this one. A lot of fans excited for it with two exciting and improving sides. Plenty of chances for both. Sanabria squandered a very, very easy header early on in the game, but he made up for it later, the Paraguayan. The game started to open up, and it was Raspadori, once again, who faces his fair share of criticism, but somehow knows to get his name on the score sheet more often than not. So decent point for both sides as they both sit 10th and 11th in the table. I think both sides won't be too disappointed with a point. And, spoils shared between Juric and Pianese, and only 3 points separate the two. Sassuolo in 10th and Torino in 11th. Yes.
I watched the game. I have to be honest. Yeah. Torino hit the post and the crossbar, I think, 6-7 times.
Yes, they did. I remember watching the extended highlights.
To be honest, Sassuolo should be happy with the draw because the way Torino almost finished it could have been 3 or 4-0 before the goal of Sassuolo. So very unlucky. Remind me of Napoli. They tried to beat Napoli record with crossbar and post of the year, maybe. Because there was, I never remember watching a game to see at least 4 posts and 2 crossbar from the same team in the same game. That was quite wild.
Adrian, because it's the first time on the show, I'm going to ask you a question, man. Out of the Sassuolo players that are hot property on the market, are there any of them that you'd like to see to go to Roma or return to Roma?
Well, I guess, Scamacca used to be a sort of Roma boy back in the day, and I would love to see an Italian number 9 up there. Him or Raspadori. I think Raspadori would, complement Abraham very well. I think they would play off each other really well. And obviously, Berardi's, I could imagine a trident of Zaniolo, Abraham and Berardi on the other side. That would be an amazing thing to see. But Scamacca, for me, I think he's the future of Italy, up front. I really believe in that guy. And going into the qualifiers, I know we haven't mentioned it yet, but Balotelli got brought back to the national team. But Scamacca would be someone that I would really invest in because he's got all the attributes to be a great player going forward.
Fair call, man. Fair call. All right, I'm just going to segue really quickly into this game. Spezia won some.
Sorry, guys, I have to interrupt you. Sorry, guys, I got about 50 message. The last.
No worries, Riccardo. No worries,
sorry, guys.
Thanks for stopping by.
But, I need to go. I'm sorry.
All good, ciao, brother. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me. I say hi to all the guys in Australia. Please keep in consideration for the next show. Forza Napoli, Inter, well done. This is your here. Stay on top, man. And Adriano, nice to meet you. And man, we talk soon. We love you.
Of course. Ciao, Riccardo. Thank you very much. Ciao. Beautiful. Boys, one thing I need to go back on. I said Spezia was my lock to get relegated this season. They've got 3 wins in a row and 4 wins in their last 5. And we know when you're a relegation-bound team in Serie A, picking up 12 points out of 15 in January is like finding the treasure chest buried in the beach. Like,
and
it's almost enough to stay
against
up.
Napoli and Milan, huh?
6 against Napoli and Milan.
Both away.
Incredible run of form. Adriano, what have you got to say? Spezia's run of form. It's one of those dream sort of 6 weeks for their fans, thinking they basically could be surviving the drop just based on their December-January form.
Yeah, definitely. I listened to this podcast right from the start of the season, and I think everyone was giving it a little bit to Thiago Motta and about his coaching history and what he can give to this Spezia team after, Vincenzo Italiano left that team last year. But he's really just proven that, he might have the stuff to keep going. As you said, 4 wins out of the last 5, and those 2 wins against Milan and Napoli, really, really strong. It puts them in a really strong position in the table as well now. I think they're about 7 or 8 points away from relegation, so they seem to be in that spot to be, not get relegated. Another flip of the coin there, Sampdoria, they're really struggling, mate. They're, they're 3 points off relegation. The 2 Genoa clubs really fighting for relegation at the moment, and that's something that we haven't seen too often recently in the recent years. Sampdoria fighting for relegation after, Ranieri's been there for the last couple of years. It sort of, thought we turned it around there. But, I would be more worried about Sampdoria. But, good on Thiago Motta and good on Spezia. They're really doing well at the moment.
We said this on the last show.
Spezia?
Yeah, go on.
Motta was sacked the day before the Napoli game. And then they beat Napoli, so they didn't want to announce the replacement. So they all done. And now, look what happened. So it tells you that all these stupid clubs that fight for relegation, those stupid press that keep sacking the coaches, give the coaches times. You didn't buy the team to win the title. They need time. Sampdoria, how many coaches they changed?
Too many, man. It's a fickle sport.
I'm happy I'm not happy that they beat us, but I'm happy that we got people hate to save Motta.
Yeah. Well, like we said the last podcast, there's a few teams in Serie A that have just been getting a free ride for too long. Cagliari, Genoa, Sampdoria, and now there's a couple of clubs that have come up that are they're hungrier. They've got a little bit more grit to fight, and week in and week out, they're going to collect more points than some of these clubs that have been slumping for a long time. Zil Admo, you have the floor. Juan Jesus is scoring goals. That's how you know something crazy is going on, man. What is going on? You've got an Inter fan at the top, Roma fan in the middle, going left. How's that possible?
And you know what? That's his fourth goal. The previous three games got disallowed. So, and you know what? He's been having a very good season too. I have to apologize to him because, it's a fourth center back. Now, think about this. We had Ramadani out for COVID. We are missing Koulibaly, okay? We lost Manolascus when cuckoo. We still are the best defense in Serie A, if I'm wrong, or second best, could be by goal. With the second best defense in Europe after Manchester City for goal clean sheet games. And we had a really bad run for the last 2 months. Can only imagine when Koulibaly is back with Ramadani, not disrespect Juan Jesus, he's done good, but it's not applied that you can play against top team. I'm really happy with Napoli market because Ramani, not many people talk about him, but he's a very good center back, scoring goals. And, I think you know what I would do? If you ask me the question, which player I would get from other teams, like I said, I would like to have the striker from Roma. I will take Dybala from Juventus, put Dybala on the right, all right, Osimhen in the center, Lozano for Insigne, and that would be a very dangerous attacking line.
Amo, how did you feel when Insigne scored?
Look,
mixed emotions.
You guys maybe not that much you, Adriano, but the boys on the panel know that I never rate Insigne. I always said that he does 100 tiro a giro in the crown, 101 goes in, everybody go crazy. It's overrated. It's the reason why they gave him the armor band is because Napoletano, but for me, the captain could have been Koulibaly since Hamsik left. And also, it proved that he's not a true Napoletano because regardless if you stay, you go, you don't do that shit. You do the video for the Toronto fan.
Yeah, it was cringeworthy, bro. It was so bad mid-season to do that.
The timing was wrong. He went to sign with Toronto the Friday before the Juventus game on a Sunday, and then you score a penalty and you go on and kiss the budget, man.
Yeah.
That's as a Napoletano. It's not a true. Look, Mertens. You know what Mertens says? I don't care about money. If the president offer me something, I stay. If the president signed my son, I live in Napoli forever. Now, Mertens might still leave in June, but you are in a race for the title. You the captain of the team, and you do that. You can go for me. Go.
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. It's just
I don't care what. You know what? If I upset me, people say, but for 10 million, you will go to. Oh, that's second. I make $4,000, not 4 million like Insigne. Of course, I will go. But he's already made 5 million euro a year until now, and he delivering nothing. All right, now every player in the world accepting a reduction. Napoli didn't offer him 1,000 euro. Napoli offered him 3.5 million euro a year to be the captain of the team that you tell that you're a fan since you were a baby. So they offer you to be a millionaire and a legend in your city, in the team that you are saying that you are supporting since you were a child. So there is no excuses. You are a liar. You're not a Napoli fan. He was he had a Del Piero poster when he was little.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the day we'll go to Toronto, the story will come out. There is a Juventino. I can guarantee you.
Straight up, you think that's the case? You think that's the case?
Man,
Yeah.
listen, you are an Inter fan. You will pay to play one game with the Inter top at San Siro. Adriano will pay to wear the Roma top and play for Roma. It's not the other way around. Does not exist unless you're not a real fan of that team. If Insigne was like from another city, another country, not a problem. But you've been telling all of us how much you feel Napoletano, how much you've been supporting Napoli since you were little, blah, blah, blah. And then you go to Toronto to play.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah, the worst part was the video and the PR stunt mid-season, man, and the thumbs up.
I think also being in January as well, there's still 4 or 5 months to go in the season. It's just a very odd transfer.
And also, why you accept Toronto in January? You can have a lot of other.
Could have waited 4 or 5 months and then announced it in June, July, but they announced it now.
Exactly. Timing. You know what? He
everything.
proved what everybody in Napoli thought, because there's a big portion of Napolitan fan that never liked him, and that makes sense. He proved to be a very little man. He proved that not to be a real captain, and he proved that he never supposed to be a captain. He was lucky to be Napoletano, and they made him captain for the reason. Because if he was not Napoletano, I would never see him be picked to be a captain. Koulibaly way ahead of him, guys. Koulibaly way ahead of him.
Yeah, fair call. Well, there's
Mertens
with the captain's armband in that photo. Jersey looks good. Jersey looks very good, to be honest, bro.
How many jerseys have Napoli?
How many jerseys? I used to collect every Napoli jersey every year I give up.
Yeah, you got bankrupt.
I understand the Maradona one. I understand the Maradona one. I want to understand also that the Maradona was done in 3 different colors. Well, I want to understand that. I mean, every week we got a different top now. They're all beautiful. Don't get me wrong, but come on.
Yeah,
And I guess there's a side note from this game as well. Is that Salernitana in Serie B now, or what? Because they're so far away from
The ladder says they need 8 points to get to come out of relegation. I think they're done, unfortunately.
I feel sorry because they were forced to play against us with lots of players with COVID. I'm against these kind of rules, you know me. I'm against the fact that we have a international competition and European competition. They're supposed to only start the league, and then we had a lots of free midweek games to use as a catch-up round and play proper team. Because it's not fair for Salernitana to travel to Napoli with 11 players and 5 kids. You know, we would have crashed it anyway. Napoli had to stop 4-1. Napoli stopped attacking. You know, the way I am, I will try to score 8. But Napoli players probably try to look after their legs too. You know, but very sad that a team like Salernitana, was forced to play in that condition. They already struggle. You know.
Yeah, fair enough. Surprise of the round goes to Walter Mazzarri and Cagliari, who, even though they don't play fantastically, as we know, they're still starting to collect those few points that they might need to sustain a challenge to stay in Serie A. João Pedro, the money man, again made it 1-0 before a Sotil equalizer in the 77th. Fiorentina are 7th, still looking for a European place. But I guess I'm going to go around to the 2 gentlemen here. If Fiorentina lose Vlahovic in January, Armando, how far can they slip down from where they are right now in 7th place, 36 points? They've only won 1 game in their last 5. People need to realize that. Listen,
first of all, I watched the game. And remember, I messaged you when Cagliari got the penalty. And I said, if a Cagliari scored 2-0, you're going to see Mazzarri old school style, ultra defensive and countering attack. But then they missed the penalty. And then they conceded with the extra man. It was very sad. If Fiorentina lose Vlahovic, I think they lose. Like I said, if Vlahovic is going to bring 10, 15 goals to Juventus, that means Fiorentina is going to lose 10, 15 goals. And in that scenario, 10, 15 goals is 10, 15 points.
Yeah, of course. Adriano, did you manage to catch any of this? And what are your thoughts? Yeah. Cagliari can manage to survive the drop this season?
Look, Cagliari's side, they should be doing much better than they are at the moment. That man on the screen there, João Pedro, has been called up to the Italian national team, which is another topic again, because I'm not really for Oriundi to represent Italy, but that's something else. Look, as you mentioned, if Vlahovic does leave, I looked at it today, the next top scorer at Fiorentina is Berardi with 4 goals. And he's a defender. So wherever all these goals are going to come from, they might be getting that guy, that Brazilian from Basel. But again, he's got to come and he's got to get accustomed to the league. I can definitely see Fiorentina finishing 10th or 11th if Vlahovic does leave in this January period, because they have no one else to score any goals. And these are the games, if they want to make a European spot, they have to win. They can't draw 1-1 to Totally away. And also, interestingly, Vlahovic didn't play in this game. I'm not sure if he was dropped or if he was injured, but that might be a distraction for the team.
He got COVID.
Yeah.
Riccardo said it before.
Yeah, but this whole thing, it can't be good on that team's, mindset going into every game. Is Vlahovic going to be with us next week? Is he not? I'm not sure if you guys have seen the messages that the Fiorentina fans have left at the stadium or at the training ground.
Nice.
I got a question for you guys, because you follow some players more than me. I'm taking a distance from football this year. And I said that Riccardo is not here because he said people say that Vlahovic is not good anymore. I'm not going to say that because the way I see it, it's good. But where was Vlahovic last year? What's his history as a striker? Can you guys highlight me? Because Fiorentina have a history of selling top players and then become normal players. Milan went through with Kalinic, or we can go Pepito Rossi. We can have a list of players that left Fiorentina did not deliver. What was he good? Because I don't like a 6 months or 1 season wonder player. I would like to know what he did before.
Vlahovic burst on the scene. I remember when Conte started at Inter. I remember as soon as he came in that season, Vlahovic, there was a lot of hype around him when he was 19, just because of how big he was and how strong he was, and he scored enough goals, I think, to really set the tone from there on in. And then last season he was even better. How many did he get last season? 30 goals, something like that.
He got 21 in the league last season in 37 games, and he's already scored 17.
He has a Serie A background already. Sorry, because I couldn't remember.
Yeah, I guess he's only 21 still, so I guess he seems like such a man, and he's such a big player already. But he's only, very young, and he's already scored more than nearly 40 goals in 2 years in Serie A.
He's got 40 goals. He's got, I think, just about 40 or 44 goals in about 98 games. So he's very consistent. But then you got to ask yourself the question. Like, for me personally, I think he's the best forward in Serie A. But do you need to prove yourself at a bigger club other than Fiorentina before you make that?
Anthony.
That move?
I learned, I have white hair. You can't see it because I shave, but I do have lots of white hair. And actually, we can use the last move from Inter to Chelsea. There is players they're very good in a team, but when they move, they're not the same. Look at Lukaku at Chelsea. Would you expect Lukaku to score 2 goals so far?
Yeah,
so,
we'll see what happens, man. He's a good pickup.
But definitely, Fiorentina is going to lose. He's going to lose. He's going to drop.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. Speaking of dropping, we're dropping a little bit of form at the moment. Our players a little bit, I wouldn't say they look sloppy completely, because we still controlled this game, and Venezia put 11 players behind the ball, and unfortunately we made a mistake around about 20 minutes in. Milan Skriniar let his man loose, and Milan Skriniar hasn't let a man loose all season, to be honest, in my opinion. And it was unfortunate because after that we were sort of playing with our backs against the wall, trying to get 3 points, and literally in probably the last 60 to 90 seconds of the game, Edin Dzeko, who probably had a 3 out of 10 performance, came up clutch to score a header at the end. And that's what he's been like all season. And I've got another Roma fan on the panel, so I'm going to go straight to him. Is this a familiar sight to you, bro? 20 missed sitters, and then he somehow comes up clutch at the end?
It is a very familiar sight, Anthony. But, it's becoming a recent trend for you guys. I think it's the last 3 games, or in the last 3 games, you guys have come back in the Coppa Italia in the last minute, and in the Serie A game before that. And I was thinking about it today as well. It really reminds me of the Juve during their peak, under Conte and Allegri. Any game right up to the last minute, you couldn't write off Juventus. And at the moment, Inter's exact same situation. The game is not over for Inter until the last minute. You always just feel like they're going to somehow come into it. And I think Dzeko, I know there's a lot of chances and misses some, but he's really mitigating that loss you guys are feeling by Lukaku, going to Chelsea. And I think Marotta said that, we sold Lukaku for 110 million, we replaced him for Dzeko for free, and there's not that much difference on the field. Martinez still scoring goals, and Dzeko with his 9th of the season. Yeah, you guys, even when you're not playing well, you seem to be winning, and that's a winning formula when you want to win the Scudetto, for sure.
For me, Martinez is showing that he's actually not going to be the guy that we fully expect him to be. He is going to be another one of these players that sort of has a ceiling that you think that he's going to be able to get there. But as time goes by, the mentality and the ego sort of takes over. And I just think that he's going to be one of those players who's always going to be the perfect second striker, the perfect player to play off a superstar striker. I don't think he's going to be that superstar. And in a market that inflates its players big time, I think Martinez is just another victim of that. Don't get me wrong, he's a very, very good footballer. And for Serie A standards at the moment, hey, I wouldn't swap him for 90% of the forwards in the league. But he's not your Sergio Aguero predator who at 19 years old was still converting all of his chances for Atletico Madrid. You know, people need to realize the standard has dropped, I think, to a point these days where everybody forgets just how good the previous 1 or 2 or 3 generations were. They were a different creme of the crop. There was no social media to look at after the game to fulfill whatever void of failure that you had onto the pitch. And all these little zeros and ones are adding up these days because the years tick on for these players. Can I use another example? Remember when Paul Pogba moved back from Juventus to Manchester United? Mamma mia, that guy's technical skill set and physicality, on his day, at best ability, he should be the best midfielder in the world, hands down. And he was. And for his first year and a half at Manchester United, he showed it for about half the time. And you thought, he'll get there. It's just a matter of time. Look where he is now, man. Look how much football he's played. It's honestly probably the biggest waste of midfield talent I've seen in the modern era of football. And that's just one of the few examples.
This could be said on Dybala and Insigne as well. They're 30 years old now, man. People keep talking about Dybala needs to explode. Man, those two are 30 years old.
Yeah,
how long we
need to wait for?
Dybala
as well. Yeah.
Why you reckon people like Dzeko or like Ibrahimovic, regardless his old, they get injury now, they keep bagging goals. They've been bagging goals all their life. They had maybe a couple of months down, not a couple of seasons down.
Yeah. These players are different up here. They're built different up here.
Listen, I saw the interview from Song. They went to Barcelona, and I was disgusted. The guy was pretty much to.
That was a bad one.
Say what he said. He said he was happy to not play, but be at Barcelona because he can go out, he could buy Rolex, he could have a watch, he makes money. Man, you ruin your football career. You stop playing.
Yeah.
Go play poker at the casino. If you win, you make the same money. But this is the mentality. And unfortunately, you know who's the fault? All these fans that are around the world, there are no fans. They're social media customers. Because, not offense, I heard you guys talking about Tonali. But can I ask you, where was Tonali the last 5 years? You know?
He's still pretty young, Armando. He's still pretty young.
Exactly. Tonali to be a good player has to do what he's been doing not that often now. Consistent for 3 or 4 years. Before a player like Tonali could have played with Milan in the 80s or 90s, he had to hit the dust on the soccer pitch, man. He had to prove and prove and prove. And now he's the midfielder of AC Milan. But that goes for everyone. Don't get me wrong.
They're all hot property at such a young age. At such a young age, it's the fear of missing out. You need to get him before somebody else gets him. And then if you don't play him, they'll pick up a stink, or they'll tell their agent, or the agent will tell their mum, or their mum will tell the dog, you know. And then it's just a vicious cycle.
I want to say something about Inter. I feel so sorry because up to 2 weeks ago, I follow Biancchini on Instagram, and I saw the guy posting few things like, oh, everybody complained that Inter doesn't get injury, Inter doesn't get COVID, it's not our fault. Bang, they got jinked, man. You got hit by the Napoli luck. Everybody who's complained that Napoli for few years never had injuries. In the last 2 years, we got destroyed. We got people get injured turning on their car in Napoli. Oh, I broke my wrist. You lost the striker. What's his name?
We lost Correa, and then we lost half of Dzeko's fitness as well.
Yeah, and now Inzaghi's got COVID. That means in the next 4 or 5 weeks, slowly, all your players will get COVID.
Look, the thing is, I think we can all agree, Inter's done very well to get themselves in a position where now you're going into Milan and the Napoli games, knowing you win both of them, you can very much focus on the final.
No. I was not referring at the later. That's in how much people really jinked, because. Everybody can get by to not get injury. Come on. There's so many other things to talk about.
With that as well, though, I think different to Napoli is that Inter have 2 first-team squads in their squad.
Lost bet, Adrian. Napoli's got 2 first team. The problem is we have to play with 13 players for 2 months every 3 days. Yeah. So it doesn't matter how many good is your replacement. If they have to play, also, we had to play players coming off the COVID with no training. We had to play rush players from injury. Having 9 to 12 players out for 2 months, when your squad is made by 24, you lost a squad.
Yeah, just by with Inter, who they can bring off the bench. Like for this game, they brought off Vidal, Sanchez, Dumfries.
But if Inter has to play with Vidal and Sanchez for 2 months every 3 days, they will drop points because those players are good bench players, but no one can play their games.
Of course.
You know, remember I was speaking to Anthony because we talk about, you know, life as well. We're talking about the COVID. And I told him that Zielinski come back from COVID, no training, had to play, I think it was against Inter, and we had to take him off after 10 minutes because he had almost a heart attack.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, well, we had to rush him to play because we had no one. So I will, and listen, I'm glad I said it to everybody. Napoli has to go into surviving mode. And we did. We were really unlucky to draw point against Venezia because, you know, we dominate the game. We couldn't score. And then they had the counter attack at the end.
Yeah.
We lost 2 home games that we should not lost. I get the loss against Inter and against Atalanta. Even with the small players, I think we gave them some hard times. You know, we even went ahead of Milano with Inter, you know, if I remember well. And then
You scored the first goal.
The fatigue kicks in and they killed us because, you know, they had in that case, the bench made the difference because they had the fresh players coming in and we had one Jesus coming in, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, decent 3 points in the end. And yeah, as I said, going into the tough matches, Napoli and Milan, I think all the fans are looking at it in 3 different ways. You know, you get 6 points from the next 2 games. I don't think anybody expects us to drop the ball from there. But as very well as that, you could lose both of these games, and then it's title race back on for all money.
But
these are going to be the 2 toughest games of our season, man. And I'm not taking anything for granted until they're both finished.
I don't know. From my point of view, I supposed to hope for a victory from Inter or from Milan in that game, to be honest.
You've always said from the start the ultimate goal is to just cement top 4 no matter what.
Exactly, bravo. So, you know what?
I think a draw.
I don't want to fall in that trap. I don't want to fall in that trap.
A draw.
I know a draw would be perfect, but I don't see Inter Milan to draw, man. Inter is a too good of a team.
Especially since the first derby was 1-1 and the goal for them was an own goal from De Vrij. So I think we're out to score a couple of goals in this one.
Look, on paper, and also I think Milan's got a couple of injuries now, should be tending to Inter, but it's a derby, and normally the team that goes into the derby with the less hope is the one that creates trouble. Like, I'm really looking forward to the derby of Della Mole this year. Torino hasn't won a derby in a while, and this year it looks very promising. So there's a couple of games that I look forward, but not because of the calendar or anything, because I'm really getting bored, man. I don't watch much football, so there's few games only that I'm interested in. The Derby di Milano still got a bit of hype, you know.
Yeah.
Like Derby della Capitale, Roma Lazio, I still would like to watch.
Yeah.
The rest of the games, you know, I watched the Torino game because I thought it was a good game and I was a good call. Torino Sassuolo was a good game to watch, you know. But I don't watch much football for that reason.
This has been a very good episode of Serie A Roundtable. Make sure you're liking and subscribing and sharing as well. Let's go through the last couple of games nice and quickly. Ball draw from 2 attacking sides, although for 2 attacking sides it was boring. Atalanta missing a host of names, which has really forced Gasperini into some unfamiliar tactical territory recently. But that's just temporary. They've got a host of injuries, and with the likes of Zapata, Ilicic, and Malinowski all coming back into full regard soon, I think Gasperini will switch back to his regular style of play. He even started playing 4 at the back, which I haven't seen him play for a long time. But overall, a boring game, and Sarri's just going to have to accept the fact that with this team that he has on paper, he's not going to get near the European zone, the European spots. And the only thing you can hope for is for Fiorentina or Roma to drop any form and points. But the interesting one for me is Atalanta. Part of me believes they should have enough in the tank to finish 4th over Juve. Part of me thinks what Armando thinks, and they're going to drop down the table, and in a few years' time, they might be down to 9th or 10th in the ladder. So it's a tough one. Armando, you still think they've got a little bit
Listen,
of
first of all, I have to say something. I copied a lots of criticism when Sarri left Napoli. Everybody thought that I was bitter. That's why I didn't appreciate Sarri. And I keep saying to everybody, there was 2 reasons why I really got upset with Sarri. First reason was he did not play Maggio the last home game for this last game at Napoli. And I really judge people the way they act as a man. And to me, Sarri, that day, it was a game with no importance of game. We could have win or lost. It doesn't really matter. You had a place that had been 11 years at Napoli. He also wear the armband in many occasions. It's his last game, and you don't play him. That's disgusting. Okay? Yeah. Second thing, Sarri never had plan B. We lost the title that he against Juventus because he does not adapt. And everybody, you beat because he left Napoli, he went to Chelsea. He's proving again that his football style is being learned by his opposition. He cannot do the football style that he used to do at Napoli anymore, and he does not adapt. He doesn't have a plan. A team like Lazio with Inzaghi last year against this Atalanta finished 4-0 for Lazio.
Fair enough. Adrian,
Because
any
you
comment on this
cannot
one?
go
Yeah.
and not take a bite at Atalanta in that condition if you want to go for a European sport.
100%. No, and it was just one of those two games, but like with the Juve and Milan, where neither of those teams wanted to commit to get the 3 points at the end of it. It was very boring. I was watching the game. Adrian, did you catch it at all?
Yeah, I think as we spoke about, Atalanta decimated by injuries, and like I mentioned before, they played 4 players that are under 20 years old. 2 started and then 2 came on. That's how much players they were missing. And also they did sign Jeremy Boga in this transfer market, so that might add a little bit of depth. With Ilicic, he's taking some time off for his mental issues after what happened last year, so he might not come back this whole year. But yeah, Lazio, the Sarri style of football is still not there, or whatever style that is. They've lots of work to do. But Atalanta, I think if they get some players back, they might be able to hold on to 4th spot. But bouncing out of Europe might have been the best thing that's happened to them this year, because if they were still in the Champions League, they would have no chance of finishing top 4.
I think it's all come down. If Napoli and Milan drop 4, then the race for the 4th spot become really live, because there's 3rd and 2nd spot as well. If Napoli and Milan and Inter make a gap, and then the 4th spot fights, it might become softer. It might become easier for you, because Juventus is more used to do that kind of fights. If you still give hope to Atalanta to go for 2nd, 3rd spot, maybe you're right. But if Atalanta don't see their goal anymore, and just have to fight for the 4th spot, I think they will drop.
Yeah, fair enough. Aim. You've got to aim as high as possible to hit your minimal expectations. In this particular match, we have Genoa 0, Udinese 0. Alexander Blessing with a decent start to his reign. He has one job and one job only, and that's just simply survive the drop. It's looking unlikely, but if he can, more power to him. Hellas Verona beat Bologna 2-1. Mihailovic and Bologna continue the slump. They're 1 win in 5, down to 13th on the ladder. I think they're better than this. They're better than their current form suggests. We'll see what happens from here to the end of the season. Still a lot of points to play for. Verona and Igor Tudor are laughing, however, with 33 points. Goals for Caprari and Kalinic for them. And they're still looking the best of the mid-table bunch at the moment.
Simeone missed 4-1-1. Unbelievable.
I think
it's 4. I don't want to be wrong.
Yeah. He scored a lot of his goals in the first 7 games of the season, and he's gone walkabout again, man. We can't see him at the moment. So typical of strikers in Serie A. Typical.
Hey, put it away. Simeone was another one that could have been I'm not saying Vlahovic now, because you guys told me that he scored for 3 seasons. But I don't know. Those players that you think they're really good because they do a good season when they start in Serie A. Because I remember when Simeone played the first season, everybody was up, talking very high about him. He was scoring goals. Was a Fiorentina, what it was?
Yeah, Fiorentina, he was there. Yeah,
he was scoring lots of goals, and then what happened? So, you know me, I'm old school. To me, applies to be named a good player, has to deliver for 2-3 years.
Yeah. It's been a very fun Serie A Roundtable. I'm very, very grateful to everyone who has watched. Make sure you like and subscribe as well. Leave a thumbs up. And I really want to thank my 2 guests, Adriano for making his debut on the channel on Football Worldwide. I really appreciate it, bro.
Thanks so much, Anthony. Nice to meet you, Amo.
Nice to meet you. Adriano, are you still playing?
I'm trying to, but I play in the thirds, so it's a Sunday league.
Because Milan is looking for a striker.
Zio,
nice
thanks
to
for
meet
coming
you,
as always, bro.
Anthony, thanks for having me, man. Thank you.
Anytime. Ciao from all of us at Football Worldwide. Ciao, ragazzi. Take care.